clase. Muy, muy, muy rápido. El calendario número 1. Rápido, muy rápido. Ok, clase, la fecha de hoy.
Hoy.
¿Es el 4 o el 5?
5.
¿El 5 de septiembre o el 5 de octubre?
Octubre.
Es obvio, clase. Y clase, mañana es viernes. Y clase, ¿cuál será la fecha de mañana? ¿El 5 o el 6?
El 6.
Oh, clase, viernes es mi favorito. Un aplauso para viernes. Oh, viernes, qué fantástico. Ok, clase, rápido. Calendario número 2. Ok, jueves el 4, oh no es el 4. Oh, clase, el 5. El 5 de octubre del año 2017 y está fresco, hace sol. Y Charlie, en tu opinión, ¿hace buen o mal tiempo? Ok, fantástico. Ok, Charlie, 1, 2 y 3. Hoy es
Jueves el 5 de octubre del año 2017. Está fresco, hace sol. En mi opinión, hace buen tiempo.
clase 10. No. 15. Aplausos. 5, 10, 15. 15 aplausos para Charlie. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Oh no, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, Charlie, lo siento. Ok, clase. Yo voy a hablar en inglés. Yo voy a hablar en inglés. What am I going to do? See, I need to talk to you, I'm sorry, but I need to talk to you about the writing that you're about to do. Since it's your first time, I have a few things to teach you. So listen up, class. All right, people. Writing in Spanish is different from writing in English because when you write in English, you can think in English, and when you write in Spanish, you have to think in Spanish. If you think in English, you're going to think about something really complicated to write because you're a smart person who has way more cognitive abilities than linguistic abilities in Spanish. Your brain will get carried away with you. So I want to give you some tips and advice. First, I'll tell you about the rules, and then I'll give you some tips on how to follow those rules. These are very important, so if you're sitting over here or over here and you can't see, I want you to go sit behind Cassidy so you can. Olivia, can you see? Simon, can you see? You might need to move back there, Simon, so you can see better. Can you see, Maya? Okay. All right, there's 3 rules. And there's 3 tips that go with each rule. So I'm going to give you rule number 1 and then tips to follow it. Rule number 1 is you have to write and don't stop for 10 minutes. Since you have to write in Spanish without stopping for 10 minutes, this is going to be quite a feat. Let me tell you some tips on how to keep yourself writing. First thing is to use what you know. You know a lot about the weather and the date. As the year goes on, we're going to spend less and less time on the weather and the date, but so far we've spent quite a lot of time on the weather and the date, so you can talk about the weather and the date all day. The second thing that you know how to do really well is describe people. For instance, burrito el taco and taco el burrito and the aguacate. So you could describe them. or you can make up a new character, or you can make up a new person. Something else to keep yourself writing for 10 minutes is to add a new person and compare person number 1 and person number 2. So maybe you're like, Bill es grande, Sally es pequeña. Bill es inteligente y Sally es muy inteligente. So you can add another person and kind of compare them and make them kind of like opposites. You could also, if you totally run out of stuff to say, you can start a brand new story. And in that story, you can talk about the weather and the date and give it a different weather and a date and a different character. So that will help you keep writing. The only thing you're graded on is the number of words that you write. It doesn't matter if you write like a whole story that makes sense. This is not language arts class, it's language class. So the whole idea is that you just get your language out. Tia?
Can I just write like nonsense?
Well, I mean, it has to like be sentences that make sense, but it doesn't have to flow like a whole story. You can start a whole bunch of new stories, Tia. Yes, Olivia?
How many words should we about write? Like, how many pages?
Usually about 35 words is the average, but some of you will probably write, some kids this morning wrote 100 words, okay? So it's all over the place. Some people write about 20 or 25, most people write around 30 or 35, and then there's always some people who write like a whole bunch more just because they're like super quick. Yes?
I'm allowed to ask you if we don't know words.
You're not allowed to ask me, so let me get to the next point. So you have to write only in Spanish. So there's going to be a lot of times that you don't know the words in Spanish because you're just beginning. This is week 6 of the term, of the school year. So I'm going to give you some pieces of advice, some tips on how to keep yourself writing in Spanish. This is the most important thing on this whole chart. The most important thing on this whole chart is to listen to your brain before you move your pencil. You need to hear a sentence in your head in Spanish before you start writing it. Think about it. Let's imagine that you're not thinking in Spanish, you're thinking in English, and you're like, okay, it's going to be this dog. What's dog in Spanish? Okay, so you know perro. All right, I know perro. I'm going to say there's a dog. And you're like, the dog wants to get in a rocket ship and go to the moon. So you're going to be like, el perro. And then you're going to be totally lost, and you're not going to know what to do. But if you can hear a whole sentence in your head, even if it's really short, because you're just beginners, your basic Spanish is going to be very short, you can say something like, okay, you hear it in your head, el perro es inteligente. El perro no es tonto. So the most important thing on this whole chart is to hear, then write. So before you pick up your pencil, you want to hear the whole sentence, even if it's really short. Right now, you're going to be writing short. Like I said, your cognitive thinking abilities are way up here because you're like 12, 13, 14 years old, however old you are. Anybody 11? Okay, you're like 12 years and up, right? So you're pretty smart in your brains, but you have the vocabulary of like a 1-year-old. So you've got to hear it in your head so that your smart English speaking or whatever your first language is, brain, doesn't get away from you. So hear it in your head and then write the sentence. Will?
I have one question. What is cat?
Gato. I'll give you 3 different things to start your stories off at the very end when we get to rule 3. Something to help you out if you don't know the word for something, like you want to say car or shoe or school and you can't think of the word, is to say like the brand name. So brand names or like the proper noun for a place like California or Disney World, or if you don't know the word for shoe, you can say Vans. If you don't know the word for car, it's carro. But if you don't know the word for car, you can say Porsche or BMW, whatever. Tesla. Yes?
Does spelling matter?
No. That's rule 3. All right. So in rule number 2, it says only in Spanish. The most important thing is to hear it before you write it. And a really helpful piece of advice is to use brand names if you don't know the word for a thing. The last thing is about your grade. Your grade is only based on the number of words that you write. That's not spelled correctly, that's not used correctly. It's the number of words you write in Spanish, or any brand names or proper names that you need to use. over the course of the year, okay, you'll probably start kind of down here. And over the course of the year, you might go up, you might go down a little bit, but by the end of the year, your number of words is probably going to go up quite a bit. That is what your grade is based on. And it's really easy. You can do it without even making very much of an effort. Whatever you write today is probably going to be the lowest amount that you write all year long. And then for the rest of the year, without really even trying that hard, you're just going to get the ability to think faster in Spanish so that you can hear more inside your head because you listen so good. So don't worry too much about spelling. Just spell what you hear in your head. Don't worry too much about how the words get put together. Just think of it in your head, and it probably is going to be almost correct. You'll be surprised. So, my piece of advice for you with this is that you want to start strong. What you're about to do is work with a partner to give yourself a strong start. So you have a paper that looks like that. And you're going to write one sentence at the top that gets you started so that you can just start strong and have a good idea for a good thing that you can write and get a lot of words. Here is my #1 tip for how to start your story. Now, usually every story starts with once upon a time, which in Spanish is había una vez. However, that sets you up to write in the past tense. And most of us are not ready to write in the past tense yet. We're probably going to be writing in the present. There is a person. They are really big. They are dumb. They are smart, whatever. So, había una vez is in the past. So if you want to say there is or there are in the present, that's I. And then we're going to draw a line under it because whatever we write with our partner when we start strong and brainstorm, it's not going to count for our number of words because this is only the number of words that are written in 10 minutes.
What if we screw up on grammar?
Oh, that doesn't count. The only thing that counts is the number of words. So I will now give you a few things that you might say there is, okay? So this might help you. So do you guys know how to say there is a girl? Una chica. So you might say there is a girl. What about a boy? Un chico. You might say there's a dog. How do you say dog? Un perro.
If we're writing about something that's not boy or girl, like for instance a room, is it una or un?
Well, it depends. A room is una.
A house. What about a house? No.
That's una casa. But it doesn't really matter right now because that's going to come in time. Right now, we're just writing as many words as we can. Don't stress out about it if it's una or el or whatever. Just write what you think sounds right. What if you want to say there's a cat? Un gato. Mm-hmm. What if you want to say there's a teacher? So una profa. Or if it's a boy teacher, it'd be un profe. Is there any, let's see, anything else? Maybe one more thing. Yes?
I can ask you later.
Okay. Yes?
Weather?
Tiempo?
Two?
Two, as in dos?
No, as
Or
in, like,
also?
yeah.
Oh, to. Like you're going to a place?
Yeah.
That's just a. Or al. I'm not going to explain how to pick the difference, but. All right. So, you're not allowed to ask any. Oh, yes, dear.
What's yo mean in Spanish?
Yummy?
Yo.
Just.
What is
Oh, yo is me. Or I.
Oh.
So if I say I'm going to read the calendar, yo voy a leer el calendario. Mm-hmm.
If you were gonna say like my dog or my cat, would you say your dog or your cat? Or
Well, you would not say dog, you say perro, but yeah, me. Mm-hmm.
How do you say like I own?
I own
Yeah.
tengo. That's I have. Tengo un perro, tengo un gato. Yes?
Next one, say of.
Of is going to be de or del or de la. I'm not going to explain how to choose, just pick which sounds right. We'll take 3 more questions of this type and then we're moving on. Yes?
Well, it's different. I was wondering if we could write in sections.
Of course. The only thing that counts is your number of words, and you have to start a new story or a new section. That's totally fine. Oh, hello. I'm sorry. Any other, 2 more questions? Yeah.
How do you say sleeping?
Durmiendo. Last question. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo is going to be you.
What is like channel, like news channel?
Canale? Or canal?
Oh wait, I have
What
a question.
strange questions you kids have. You're going to turn to somebody near you and you're going to brainstorm your first sentence. You're only going to write 1, maybe 2 sentences with a partner.
Wait,
Hey,
I
by
have
the
a
way,
question.
if you want to steal a sentence from your partner and write the same sentence as them, that's fine too. You're going to write 1 or 2 sentences to start your story. Go.
Okay. I have 2 questions. Bye bye.